From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
Energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, lots of different voices. Ira Schoffel joins us from Omaha, Nebraska, as Florida State tries to stave off elimination once again, this time against North Carolina. And we have staff writer Matt LaSerre helping out with recruiting news. Some official visitors to look out for this week. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Promo code Warchant BOGO. Warchant BOGO. Buy one, get one free. World's first clinically tested, clinically proven energy shot to improve focus, your mood, your immune system, and your workouts. And no sugar crash. 260 milligrams, all natural caffeine, no sugar. Energy, nutrients, Vitamin Energy. Shake it and take it. Again, vitaminenergy.com, promo code Warchant BOGO. Head to Corner Pocket for lunch today, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., $8.99 lunch special. Oh, wait. I lied. It's all day. It's Taco Tuesday, everybody. Go take advantage. Soft shell, hard shell, beef, or chicken. And watch your Noles starting 2 o'clock, taking on North Carolina in Omaha. All right, so Ira's in Omaha, which means I have the distinction of playing cops and courts as a reporter, Big J journalist today. Another salvo in the ACC FSU lawsuit going down at the Leon County Courthouse this morning. So I will be stationed there providing updates. Not exactly sure what I need to be listening to. I am terrible at quoting people. I can't play telephone. If you tell me one thing, I will not repeat it verbatim to the next person. It's not built that way, but going to do my best. Going to try to polish off these news reporting chops I had back in the day when I worked in Montana. So follow us on Twitter, I think. Maybe there'll be a thread on the Tribal Council as well. Maybe there'll be both. Maybe there will be both. But Ira's in Omaha. Florida State taking on North Carolina. We don't know who's going to start for the Noles. We theorize what that actually could look like possibly. A little bit of a rough recording. He was at the ballpark, and people weren't respecting Wake Up Warchant. They were just like talking loudly as Ira was trying to talk to us. Anyhow, Corey Clark, myself, Ira Schoffel, talking about the College World Series, Florida State, North Carolina. All right, let's go ahead and shoot off to Omaha, Nebraska. Let's bring in managing editor Ira Schoffel to join the program. He's been out there for 4 days now, Ira? How are things out there in the heartland of our great country?
Yeah, man, I think we're kicking close to 5 days, basically, because I got here on Thursday. So, yeah, man, it's flies by when you're having fun. And, no, it's been good, man. Yesterday was really helpful because if yesterday had not gone well after what happened on Friday, I just can't even imagine how you'd even describe. We would have to just all decide to never talk about this trip to Omaha ever again.
So do that for us. I don't want to relitigate between Corey and I, but how has the team? How did you process what happened Friday, and then the bounce back on Sunday, and where they sit going into the eliminator game on Tuesday against North Carolina?
I mean, I think they were. We were out there with the team a little bit at the team hotel on Saturday, after the game, and they were as distraught as you can imagine. I think it's not just the fact that you blew a game that you should have won, but because of all the things you guys talked about on Wake Up yesterday, just that it's everything could have set up great. So it's just such a missed opportunity. It's not just the one game, but it's just what it means for the rest of the tournament. And so they were devastated. And, there's like the mixed outrage over the call, the non-check swing call, and then the, frustration about guys that didn't, do what they could have done. And so just all of that added up to just misery. So he basically gave them the day off unless they wanted to do stuff. A few of the guys, I guess, went in the cage, but everybody else just took the day off. And they got back at it yesterday, and sure enough, I mean, he said he thought it was their best game of the season. It might have been.
I'll keep going, Corey. So when you guys,
I know.
No, it's fine. It's
my
fine.
turn to talk.
It's fine.
How long would he have waited?
Anyway, sorry.
I mean, good grief.
All right. Well, usually I ask one question, then Corey jumps right in. But anyhow,
Listen, we're not interviewing James Tibbs. It's Ira. Let's ask the question.
All right, stop it. All right, 3, 2. All right, so Ira, after you guys spoke to Link after the game against Virginia, he kind of joked. He's like, listen, don't ask me what I'm going to do on Tuesday. I have no idea what I'm going to do on Tuesday, so don't ask. You weren't able to catch up with him. He didn't do any media on Monday. Do you have a feel out there talking to people that know the team what maybe the plan of action is going to be on Tuesday as they take on North Carolina at 2:00?
Not really, but I mean, I think if you look at some of the decisions he's made lately, some of the guys he's kind of not been using in situations where maybe they would have been used early in the year. I think we could kind of make some deductive reasoning. Like my feeling is if you're going to win this thing, or at least you just keep advancing, like you're going to have some guys who've got really good stuff show that good stuff on this game. And so to me, I think you go with the guys who've got the best stuff. And I think Abraham and maybe Holtz and some of those guys. I just don't think you go with some of these older guys who have pitched a lot, but really don't have great stuff. So that's my theory. But we'll have to see. We don't have any inside information. I guess is he probably won't even announce it until late in the day. Now I guess they could go with Whitaker potentially, but I almost. I kind of wonder if you save him more as a reliever, but we'll see. I mean, I think every option that is available except for, Carson Dorsey and Jamie Arnold.
I was going to say
Ira,
that thing, Corey.
Do you agree? I'm talking now, Aslan. I'm doing it. Do you agree with me that it's just a dumb format? It's an awesome event. It's an incredible event. It's really cool. It's a dumb format. If you lose your first game, you're essentially done. What kind of sense does that make in the sport of baseball?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't know what the solution is. Like, I'm not the expert on different tournament formats, but I almost wish you could do – I don't know what it would take, but I wish you could do almost like 8 simultaneously, or 4 simultaneous best 2 out of 3s, and then move on from there. Because, yeah, it seems like it's once you get into this situation, it's just almost impossible. Now, what's ironic is I kind of think when Florida State back in the day, like with Mike Martin's staffs, a lot of times they were able to kind of navigate some of this because they had so many arms in the bullpen. But those days, I think, are long gone in college baseball, especially for Florida State. So it's going to be brutal. But I can see a path. If you look at if they can get through tomorrow, I think they'll score runs against Tennessee, and if they do that, then you got a chance. I feel a lot better than I did 24 hours ago for sure.
Do you think, Corey, it's more likely that Whitaker gets the start or Florida State finds themselves clinging on to like a 2-run lead and then Jamie Arnold comes in to get you the last 3 outs? Like, which one of those sounds more likely, more palatable, or do you have to keep Arnold and wish against everything that, you keep advancing and then he can have somewhat close to a week's rest and do something before the finals?
I think you could see a scenario. We could see a scenario where Arnold gets 3 outs. You're not going to ask for more than that because you might be asking for 17 pitches, and he could throw 80 or 90 in the start the next day against Tennessee. But you're going to need him, or you save him for Tennessee game 2, And then what? That's why this format's terrible. Like it'd be good to it'd be nice to have another starting pitcher, but it's like. Okay, say you do get to Wednesday, you do get to Thursday, and Arnold goes for you, and you advance to the championship series. Now your best pitcher can't pitch in the 2 most important games of the year because you used them to get there. It's just bizarre. But anyway.
But do you have a solution? I mean, is there another way it would work?
No. Not really.
I like the best 2 out of 3 of those 4 teams. That was pretty cool. I don't know if that was shot from the hip or if somebody else brought up, but 2 out of 3 and just Florida State, Tennessee plays best 2 out of 3. Kentucky, NC State plays best 2 out of 3. And then after that, you advance. I like that, but I don't logistically down the line, Corey, would it still line up and work?
I mean, then the event would take, 3 or 3.5 weeks as opposed to 12 days. I mean, it would be a long time out there in Omaha, Ira. You'd be out there for a long time.
I wouldn't give teams a day off. I'd treat it like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh no, I agree with you, but you're probably playing twice as many games, even if you do that. But I do think that I just hate it. I hate the event. I hate the structure of the format where if you lose your first game, you're done. You might as well not play. So that's what bothers me most about the event. But yeah, I mean, I guess there's a path. There's a path. I don't want to bemoan and be Debbie Downer. You're going to have to beat Tennessee twice, and you don't know how much your 2 best pitchers are going to be able to pitch. Dorsey, I guess, could pitch the second game. Maybe Arnold could pitch the first game on 4 days rest or whatever it would be, 5 days rest. I guess it'd be 5 days rest, Ira. Like, Arnold could pitch Wednesday, and Dorsey could theoretically pitch Thursday, and they're both pitching on 5 days rest, which isn't absurd. They did that a lot this year, with the ACC schedule. The problem is, how do you get there? Can you get there? Can you get there without using Arnold later on today to get you some outs? Because you're going to have.
Yeah,
to.
I just think. Yeah, my thing is, again, I think for sure you're going to need, again, like John Abraham to shove for 3 or 4 innings. You're going to need a couple of those pitchers, but they can. They have. It's not like they've never done it. So we'll have to see. But the other thing I was going to say is, like, it's funny. The players, when I was around some of the players on Saturday, or excuse me, it was actually before the game on Sunday, and you quoted that stat about what it's like 10% of the teams that lose their first game come back and win it all. And a couple of the players were like, "Hey man, 10%, I'll take my chances." I mean, it's not zero.
Well,
so,
right, yeah,
not.
I get it. It isn't, but this team, I would assume most of the teams that did that didn't have most guys in the bullpen with ERAs over 6. That's why this particular team, if they win that first game, that's their avenue. That's their way to do it. And it was still going to be hard, but that was going to be their way to do it. It is hard when you're hamstrung because you don't have your Friday night guy. I guess he would have been your Saturday night guy and Leiter moving forward. When you don't have him, it's hard to lose a Jamie Arnold start and go win 4 straight games. It's just hard to do it. And you're going to have to go beat Tennessee twice now.
Sure. I get it.
And Tennessee put up 11 on your best guys. So, but that was one game. And it's baseball. It's a weird game. Things happen. They still have a shot, Ira. They're still out there. You're still out there. I'm not sure where you are. There's a lot of banging in the background.
I'm in a lobby or a hallway of the stadium. There's not really. They didn't give me a radio booth, Corey. They didn't set up a radio booth for warchant.com.
Oh, I didn't know you were in the stadium. Okay. You're at the Florida NC State game as we speak. Oh, okay.
I am. That's correct.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I was like, my man can't find a quiet place in the hotel, but you're at the game, so good for you, buddy. Enjoy your time.
Here's the thing, though. I would say about Tennessee, and again, this is probably Pollyanna, but you have you do not have the pitching staff you need to get out of this. But if you can get to Tennessee with your bats and their defense, and I'm not in love with their pitching, I mean, you got a chance. Is all I'm saying. If you win that first game, I mean, now all the pressure's on them.
Yeah, you win the first game.
That's the path I could see.
Sure, and then so let's say you win the first game, then you got Dorsey pitching on Thursday. Dorsey's been their best pitcher this postseason, so you really like your chances then. But then it's like, okay, awesome, you pulled off this miracle. You won 4 in a row. You beat the number 1 seed twice in a do-or-die situation. Now what?
That would be a really cool. That would be. Now what is that? Would be a really cool week and a half for this baseball team to get to the championship series.
This just goes back to I'm not saying they couldn't win 2 out of 3 and whoever they're playing. I'm just saying you don't get to put your best foot forward in this event. Like your top guys should be pitching in games that matter, and to get to the championship series, you're going to have to throw Arnold and Dorsey, which means there's a really good chance one of them, maybe both of them, doesn't get to pitch in the championship series, which is absurd. I hope if that happens, the NCAA still allows Florida State to play, even if Jamie Arnold can't pitch. Just throwing that out there.
I almost feel like, though, I feel like this is like football playoff and you're a 11 seed and it's like, well, this is going to be too difficult to win. Like the top 4 teams get a first round bye. It's like, well, you have to give an advantage to the teams that win. Like, I don't want to see this whole thing blown up. And I understand what you're saying, Corey, but like if they were whole, if they did have Cam Leiter, if Connor Whitaker was able to be their third starter of the whole season, Carson Dorsey could be the guy that's like the revelation that throws 6 innings for you. So like, I don't want to punish everybody else because right now Florida State does not have the best, sort of platform or the best amount of arms to make it through this. It's just it's part of what makes this whole tournament, I don't think goofy. I think makes it that much more cooler, man. Like win, and if you don't win, like you still have a shot, but you're having to do something extraordinary. So do something extraordinary.
The thing I don't like about it, honestly, the one thing I would absolutely change is when you win your first 2 games, you don't get 2 days off. You get 1 day off. Then get back out there. That's the biggest advantage is if you win those first 2 games, you get to set your pitching again. And that's a huge advantage. That's not how baseball works, man. You're supposed to play every day. Not I get to pitch a guy in the opener in the first game. I get to pitch him again 4 days later in our third game. Like that's not how it's supposed to work. Where he gets to pitch 2 out of 3 games. That's not. This isn't softball. This is baseball. You're supposed to have to go through a bunch of arms to win a series, to win 3 games in a row. Instead, Tennessee's going to be out there for maybe potentially. Tennessee will be out there for 8 days and have played 3 games. That's not baseball. At the same time, win game one and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. If you were on the other side, if you were Florida State and Tennessee didn't have to do anything crazy to get back in, you'd be like, well, that's not fair. They should have to.
Yeah.
You know, what was our benefit for winning that game?
So what do we think about the North Carolina game then? I feel like Florida State's offense, obviously better than most every other team out there. Shoot, might be better than Tennessee's offense if you really want to get down to brass tacks on things. But North Carolina's got their guy that has not had to throw, or he did not throw against Tennessee. So I feel like they're better positioned with arms, Ira. So at this point, I mean, you talk about if you can end up playing Tennessee again, you like your shot, you like your odds because your offense is so talented. Would you rather be Florida State right now where you have these kind of bats but don't have the arms you want versus what it seems like, I guess, North Carolina having a kind of a cold offense, but their arms are still pretty lively?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be, that's why I think it's going to be a really good game. I think Florida State, I think Carolina's arms are good enough that Florida State's not going to just go out there and mash. But I also think because North Carolina's offense is not amazing, even if FSU doesn't have their best guys, I don't envision a situation where North Carolina gets crazy and scores 10 or 12 runs either. So I just think it's got a chance to be a really close game both ways. And that's just going to come down to, who makes a couple plays here or there. So the thing I like about this game is I just don't think it's a game that's going to get away from Florida State. I think they'll have a shot going late in the game, and with those bats, they might be able to do it.
But somebody's going to have to pitch like they haven't pitched all year.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just going to have to happen. Either Joe Charles gives you 3 or 4 innings, like we talked about Abraham. Whitaker, I think, is going to pitch in some capacity. I don't know if he's going to start or be a middle guy. But you can't bring in a guy that hasn't pitched a lot this year and give free bases. You just can't do it. You have to make them put the ball in play. But you always wonder with some of these guys in this bullpen in particular this year that you wonder how many free bases are they going to give, how many guys are they going to hit, or how much traffic is going to be on the bases, and how will they respond to it? Because this is obviously they're playing an Omaha team. They're playing the ACC champions. They're playing the ACC regular season champions. They're playing a really good team. And if you give them 4 extra, if you walk them 6 times or 8 times and hit a couple guys, it doesn't matter what your offense does. And you can't get to Whitaker, and you can't get to potentially Arnold for an inning if you need it. So that's my biggest concern is one of these less experienced arms, or quite frankly, arms that just haven't been good this year. They come in and they don't give you a chance. Just give this offense a chance to win you the game. Don't get behind by 6 early. Don't give up a 4 spot in the first. Give this offense a chance, and more often than not, it's going to win the game for you if you just give it a chance.
Shout out to our guy Frosty Frog over on the Tribal Council, bringing up the performance from Doug Little back in '99. Projected starter, fell out of favor, and then ended up having to play against Miami in one of the elimination games before the championship game, and goes 8 innings and got them into the championship game. We all know Will Zierzow, a little bit more recent. So, and to your point, I guess, Ira, like guys like Joe Charles or John Abraham, we keep hearing about they have good stuff. And I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility for one of those guys to go like 4. Like I think Abraham's probably more likely to give you 4 innings than Charles is, but if you can use some combination of those 2 guys to get you 21 outs, I'll take it right now as we sit here and talk on Monday evening.
And as we talked about it real quick, like you had asked me earlier, what I think they do. The more I just listen to you guys talk and think about it, I think the thing with Whitaker is the fact that he started and had success as a starter, I think you probably, if he can go, I think you start him and just see how he feels and see not just how he feels, but how his stuff is. I think the biggest thing with him is going to be, does his stuff come back? Is he as effective as he was, the other night? And if he is, then maybe, if he can give you 2, great. If he can give you 4, great. And then bring those other guys in. And then at that point, it's like Corey said, it's short leashes for everybody. Once somebody shows that they cannot contain the situation, you're bringing somebody else in.
All right, we're all aboard on that one. Well, before we let you go, Ira, are you embarrassed to say that you work with me after I disclosed the fact that I had Jacob Rizzi in my top 20 for the Warchant top 40 preseason?
I'll let you know I do.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not. I think he's a nice player. I just don't know that his path to stardom is this year right away. I think he's got a couple years to play, and I just, from what we had heard, they're probably going to play him more inside. And I mean, they've got so many guards, and I mean, I guess they don't have a lot of centers. So I probably wouldn't have him in my top 20, but I'm not going to blame you. I mean, I think he's a good player. I think they like him. I just don't know how he gets on the field a whole lot, unless there's injuries.
I know you've been doing all the videos with Tom over on the YouTube, but as you sit here and you look at what we've done so far, is there anything that you want to put your chest out about, that you want to double down on, or is there anything that you're like, I wish I didn't forget about this guy? I think you're part of the Amarian Cooper club with me. Like, we both had him in our top 25. Old Duke Cooper. What are your thoughts been so far as we stand outside the top 20?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think for most of them, it's just like you could make an argument for some of these guys that one of us has in the 20s and somebody else has unranked, and you could see both sides of it, because a lot of it's just going to depend on, who wins these starting jobs. I mean, I think, I really don't know. I mean, I think when you look at, I think on offense, certainly there's probably some of these linemen I'm going to end up having way too low, because I don't know who's going to win these starting jobs. So I think we're all going to, at the end of it, we're all going to have a bunch of guys that we either have not ranked at all and they end up starting, or we have them in the top 15 and they don't play.
He's got Blake Nicholson at 20. Everybody, that's a little tease for you. That's Ira's though. We'll have the full one. When are we going to drop the next 5, which will be 16 through 20? Ira, you're the boss. What's going on with that?
I think if you ask your co-host, I think he's writing it.
Oh,
So that's the first step, and then once he just got that assignment. But when he writes it, we'll get up on the site. It might be up by the time this plays.
I would imagine it will be. It's going to be up by the time the time people are listening to this.
And one last thing before I let you go, Ira. Hopefully, are you going to make it to the Drover? Have you gone to the Drover? Will you go to the Drover at any point?
By the time people hear this, Aslan, I may have been to the Drover. We're going with the local crew, the FSU hacks who are here. We're going to meet up there tonight. We couldn't get a reservation, but they said the wait is usually an hour to 90 minutes. So we're gonna suck it up, and hopefully we can have some cocktails while we're in line.
Yeah, same thing happened to me when I was out there. I'm getting jealous. I'm getting FOMO. They're going to go to the Drover. What do we think about Corey just always dogging Brady, not being able to let his successes breathe before? But then he went 0 for 3 after that. Like, we didn't do that with Alexa, did we? We were like, she had like a double-double. She was doing really good. Like, I'm proud of her. Like, you don't need to talk about the 1 for 10 nights. Well,
first of all, have you met Corey?
Right.
I think you've been doing a podcast with him for how long?
6 years.
Besides the fact, but no, I mean, dude, the greatest thing Alexa's high school basketball coach told me, and I will never forget it. Bruce Daniels, Tallahassee Leon High School. We were at a practice, and she missed a layup, and I groaned I was over just sitting with a couple other parents, and I kind of groaned, not loud, but he just happened to be standing next to me.
Right.
And he looked at me, he goes, she's allowed to miss a layup, Dad. And then he goes, I'm sure you never missed a layup.
Oh.
And I was like, it's fair. That's fair. So, I think, look, man, we all want what's best for our kids, but it sucks to see them not have success, but it's tough, man. I think Corey's he'll remember the good times more than he will the bad when it's all over.
I'd like to defend myself a little bit. I don't want to be one of those dads because we all met them, that all they do is talk about the positives of their kids.
Yeah.
And never mention, oh yeah, and he also had 3 errors. He had a big double, but he also had 3 errors. Like, they just always gas up their kids so much, and clearly I'm not that guy.
Corey's
so I keep it real.
Yeah, I was gonna say Corey's got to keep it real at all times, even if it's even if it's about his own child.
Well, I just feel like there's a lot of parents that listen to this, a lot of parents of travel ball kids, and they're going to think if I just talk, they're like, what, is Brady a top 100 prospect? Is he committed to the Noles yet? So I got to keep it real a little bit. Also, there's a little frustration when I said I don't want to talk about it. It's not because he went 0 for 3. There's some stuff he does with his feet that isn't, you would never, I want to send you the video, Ira, just so you see how has he ever hit the ball when he does that. And that's what's so frustrating is he's not fixing the one thing. And I've told him, I'm like, man, you could be a college baseball player. If you fix this one thing, you will play college baseball. I don't know what level, but you're going to play college baseball if you fix this thing with your feet. You were a very good player. Your hand-eye coordination is out of this world to be able to hit the ball at all with you doing spinny doos in the box. But he keeps doing spinny doos in the box, Ira. I don't know what to do about it. I'm trying, but I don't know what to do about it.
Aslam, did you get the result you wanted from this conversation?
Just one other thing. So what's going on with realignment? What's going on Big Ten SEC? I'm kidding.
Dude, tell me.
I'm kidding.
You tell me.
I'm kidding. Go to the Tribal Council, everybody. Read the stories that Ira's been crafting out there in Omaha as the Noles.
I'll have video of Brady's swing on the website
Okay.
so you guys can break it down and tell me how to fix it.
How does he not have a huddle page, Brady Clark?
That's next. Once he fixes these feet, this foot thing, all I'm going to do is tweet about my son.
Well, see, you asked the other staffs about fixing that, and they weren't very helpful. So you haven't asked Link about it. So I think you need to ask Link next time you talk to him.
You're right. I will, or I'll ask Ferrer.
You could get him down in Link Jared baseball camp, Corey.
There we go.
That's coming this summer, buddy.
Oh, hey, Ira, what did you think about Link's impersonation of 11? In a million years, would you have thought Link could crush an impression of another human being as well as he did 11?
I'll admit this. It took me by surprise when he did it the other day, and I was even more surprised that we went with the extended remix yesterday. But I don't know, man. It's okay. I don't know that it's perfect, but it's okay. It's a little high pitched, doesn't it? It's a little high pitched.
But that's when he was around 11 when he was always excited about things, you know. I thought he crushed it. Yeah. Okay.
Is it as good? Would you say it's as good as my Travolta?
more. I think more like your Liam Neeson.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Great.
That's Ira Schoffel, managing editor of warchant.com, doing all the hard work. Doesn't get enough credit. Go follow him on Twitter, everybody. Thanks, Ira. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Alrighty then. Next up on the show today, Matt LaSerre, staff writer, recruiting reporter for warchant.com, the ultimate Seminoles sports source, gives us about a half dozen dudes updates, either guys that already made visits or will be on campus right now. Well, maybe not right now if you're listening to us at 12 midnight Eastern time or 3 a.m. Eastern time, but they will be on campus Tuesday starting their official visits, which sounds kind of weird, and I asked Matt about whether or not that was weird or not. Anyhow, here's Matt LaSerre giving us the latest on all things high school recruiting with Florida State. Y'all want recruiting news? You're out there on every Florida State YouTube channel, which kind of hurts my feelings. But we know we're number one in your heart, especially because of the hard work of guys like Matt LaSerre joining us here. You don't want to wait till the weekend and know what's going on with official visitors. We got them showing up on campus later today. Matt's here to help break things down. Matt, you ready? You hydrated, pumped, focused?
Yeah, we're in the home stretch now of big June month. It's Eastbound and Down just finished playing. Kevin James is getting on the screen, getting everyone hyped up.
Okay.
If you don't know what I'm referencing, you need to get the doke.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good call. All right, hey, let's start off with an elite prospect, Jadon Blair. He's from Mount Tabor High School, which is the home of A.J. Nicholson and little brother Derek, who I think is actually a linebackers coach for the Hurricanes now, which boo, Derek. Man, he is 6'4.5", 195-pound safety, the number 15 safety in the 2025 cycle. He's going to be on campus later today as part of his journey. When I spoke to him, it feels like his dad is very involved in the process, which isn't a problem, just letting everybody know. So I wonder how much of this is going to be impressing Jadon and how much is going to be impressing his father. But just how much juice do you think the staff's going to give into getting Blair services, and what do you think they're going to try to pitch and he wants to see?
I mean, obviously there's a lot of work to do in. You probably think Penn State has the edge if you look at the on-3 RPM. I know when you talked to him, he kind of seemed all over the place of school-wise, right? Like it seemed like he was like, oh, if I committed anywhere, my parents would be good with it. So I think his dad was doing NIL stuff, like that was his thing.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, my dad's gonna handle that sort of stuff. It's like, all right, cool.
He's taken a lot of visits. He just visited Michigan and Notre Dame. He actually, since he did those in the same week, he kind of, in a story over on the On3 Michigan site, I think it's called the Wolverine, he even compared them and said, like, well, Notre Dame was the more academic and Michigan was better from a football standpoint. I'm not sure what his priorities are there. That's something we could kind of find out this weekend. But this is one I'm really interested to see kind of what they do, because Florida State's DB board hasn't been huge this cycle. You know, it was really good last year, but this year it really hasn't been that big. It's not super deep. So this is someone that they really have to push for, right? Like they have to kind of knock it out of the park with when going into this weekend. But as of right now, just looking at the RPM, you think Penn State has that edge. It looks like he's going north, right, with Notre Dame, Penn State, Michigan. South Carolina is probably your other southern school there, especially being from the Carolinas. So it's kind of going to be interesting. I'm very excited to see how this one works out.
Yeah, it sounds like last I heard, July 5th, he's going to make a commitment, sounds like, on his birthday.
Yeah, probably somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
his birthday, okay.
Yeah, so again, Florida State will be hosting him starting today. Big-time safety and a lot of North Midwestern teams in the mix, but we'll see how it all shakes out. Closer to home, Nick Clayton from Gainesville, the greater Alachua County area. He's graded out here on 3 as an edge, 6'4.5", 205 pounds. He is a 3-star prospect, just outside the top 125 in the state of Florida. UCF, Tulane, Duke are the teams in the mix on the RPM with Florida State. Sell me on the fact that he's going to be better than a 3-star, Matt, and better than the 1,010th prospect in the entire country for this cycle.
Yeah, I know Michael said earlier on the Smash that he thinks he's going to get moved up to a 4-star. I agree. I really like his film. This is someone Florida State kind of got in with a little late. They didn't offer him until last month. I want to say early May. It was right around that tornado weekend. It was either the day of the tornado hit Tallahassee or a few days later, so like 12th, 13th range. But that was his first big Florida offer. I guess he had UCF, if you consider UCF a big 3 or big 4 now. But the first of the big 3 Florida schools to offer him was Florida State. And he told me he was just excited at that point to keep building up his relationships with the staff. And he wanted to schedule a visit. He quickly did, I think about 2 weeks later, scheduled this official. This is someone that it'll be interesting to kind of see, because I don't think he's been around a whole lot. He just got the offer. But as a Florida kid, getting that Florida State offer is huge. And you see the rest of the schools that are on the RPM, right? It's UCF, Tulane. They aren't big schools that Florida State normally competes with a whole lot. So I think if Florida State were to make a push here, they could probably get him. But it's just to see, this weekend will be interesting to see how big that push is. An interesting note, too, is that his mom is a UF alum. Okay. Take that as you will, but his mom is a Gator fan.
All right. Well, he's going to high school at Buckholt, so maybe wants to spread his wings, fly, and come to Tallahassee. Yeah, man, come on.
Who wants to stay in Gainesville anyway?
Look at you. You grew up in Texas, man. Who wants to leave Texas? You left Texas, you crazy wild man.
Exactly.
Look how that worked out.
Maybe Kalik Lockett should listen to this.
Yeah, how'd Kalik do? Real quick sidebar. Did he have fun, do you think?
I think he did. I really think he did. He always seems, because I remember when you talked to him in Nashville, he kept gushing about the Florida State visit. You got that same kind of feeling. I think now the commitment's coming up, he's starting to get more guarded. We were trying to ask him when he might commit, and he said, "Well, I'll drop that after my last OV." The only issue is Alabama's entering the mix a little bit now. I don't think he's ever visited Alabama, and he's going on that OV this week, and then he finishes at the OV at Texas this weekend. But I think Florida State gave it their all. And again, I can't stress enough, the big connection here is the similarities with Mike Norvell, both from the DFW area, both receiver guys. And I think that really, really resonates with him. Every time he talks about it, he seems to always be like, yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, unfortunately, Florida State is in the state of Florida. It feels like he's going to try to stay close to home. But talking to him at the elite camp, it felt like he was just like I would love to go there. It just felt like I would love to go there, but ... But we'll see, man. That official visit, as you said, went really well. So just got to stave off Stark and the Longhorns. Mike, no big deal. You can do it.
Hey, he did say Dugans and Mike are making it hard to say no.
Yeah, all right.
That was the big quote from the interview.
That's all you can ask for, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of parents being Gator alums, Ben Hanks, I had to look this up one real quick. I'm like, is this the Ben Hanks? Ben Hanks played linebacker for the Gators in the 90s. This is his son, if I'm not mistaken. He goes to Booker T. Washington High School down in Miami. 6'1", 170-pound cornerback, Matt. 4-star prospect, just inside the top 100 nationally. Number 11 cornerback overall. And, man, that's pretty tall cotton. Florida State's fighting with, obviously, His father's alma mater, the Gators, the Miami Hurricanes are in the mix, it looks like, according to the RPM. So are the Georgia Bulldogs. Just how fierce of a battle is this one shaping up to be?
Yeah, so currently I still give the edge to UF Miami over Florida State. He was actually here last week, Wednesday, for 7-on-7 camp playing with Booker T. Washington, who won the tournament, to note. So he played pretty well then. He told me that he was just going to be pretty much looking at the program as a whole. Like, he basically listed off everything. He said the program, the facilities, just what's inside the building in general, the staff, the environment. Basically everything you can look for, he wants to look for on this visit. They said they see him as a corner, and a big thing on the visit that he wants is to see more of that, see where he fits in the scheme for Florida State. I'm just not sure where Florida State stands for him currently, because, we always ask recruits the question to finish it off, where does Florida State stand for you? And he just kind of said, they're on my list. Like, that was the quote, just, they're on my list. So this is another one where maybe that's the theme of this midweek official visit is, where do they stand on the player side more than the staff Florida State side? Where do they stand for you? And I think that's kind of, as we're seeing that with Jadon Blair, Ben Hanks, that's kind of becoming the theme. And you'll see it again more with Jared Smith, too.
All right, let's talk about Jared Smith then. Matt, this is a huge weekend. It's crazy. It's like a midweek thing, too. I want to ask you about that in a little bit. But another edge rusher out of Hoover, Alabama, Thompson High School, 6'6", 235. Number 2 prospect in the state of Alabama, the number 5 edge guy in this cycle. Man, that sounds good, but I'm the most cynical guy when it comes to pulling kids out of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. How real is this one, Matt, and just how vital is this weekend, or this week rather, going to be?
Yeah, so the strange thing about this, even though he's from Alabama, South Carolina probably has the edge right now, which is weird.
Mike
Very
Norvell
weird,
likes
right? You don't really see
Mike
that a
Norvell
lot.
likes to pull guys away that like South Carolina. That's in his DNA.
Yeah,
right?
it is. It is. Oh. They do like that. But this is going to be, again, has to be one you have to hit out of the park. Got to be like James Tibbs or Jamie Ferrer the other day. You have to hit this well, and to keep it really going. He's very high on Coach JP. He knows the development. He knows the Jared Verses, the Jermaine Johnsons. Obviously, this staff has a very good track record with DNs, and he knows that. And I think they're going to kind of harp on that hard to try to really knock this visit out of the park. Again, going with that theme. This is another one where it's just going to be interesting to kind of see what they say post-visit, to see where Florida State really stands, if they're still in that top tier of schools, or if it's someone that maybe you keep that relationship for if they enter the portal later.
Matt, what's your, before we talk about Tramel Jones here, what's your gut feeling when it comes to these visits in terms of, when I was at the elite camp, all these guys, they laid out their official visits, and it felt like they were going to, they're going to Ohio State, they're going to Georgia, on the weekend. Is there anything about bringing them on in midweek that you think might be better, or maybe not as encouraging as coming and hanging out for a weekend, or does it not matter? It's just the summer and every day's the same if you're a 17-year-old kid.
I think it's the last option, to be honest with you, because it's campus is dead anyway, right? It's not, there's not people walking around. You don't really get that same feeling as you would if you came in the fall. Yeah. So I don't really think it plays a huge part. Even if you go to restaurants and stuff, it's just not as packed as it was even for a weekend that it is during the year. So it I think you could go both ways and say that midweek is probably worse, but it's still not much of a difference in my opinion.
Yeah, just get them on campus. That's all you can ask for.
Yep.
Tramel Jones, I saw somebody started a thread on the PRB, I think, earlier in the week that said, I heard Tramel Jones flipped to Florida. I need to follow up with Gene and see if we can get that person banned. How dare they speak that? Tramel Jones, 6 foot, 195, Mandarin High School, Jacksonville, Florida. The quarterback for the 25 cycle, it feels like, for Mike Norvell and the Noles. What's he up to this week? He's not going to be on campus, right? He's got really big fish he's got to be frying.
He's got both. He'll be on campus June 21st for that big OV weekend coming up. But then before that, it sounds like he's coming straight from LA at Elite 11, which I just chatted with him about a little bit.
Okay.
So
you like Elite 11 dudes. How excited is he for that opportunity?
Oh, he said it. He seems really excited. He's like the pageantry and the tradition of this event is cool. It's been if you see the people that come through here, and I'm excited to get that coaching kind of thing. He even talked to Norvell beforehand. He told me, he said Norvell just said go out there and be yourself, and everything will work out. Tramel's been really good in these settings. We've seen him at OT7 recently, which SFE his team won. I'm excited to see how he performs. the plan right now is to do a diary just like we did with Luke last year. And we'll kind of hopefully get the inside of what it's like every day. But as for, he did visit Florida, I think it was last week on another unofficial. So that was also something I was trying to see, like what his commitment is like. How is he still feeling? He told me he was still locked in with the Noles. And even when, I asked him, like, just why do you love FSU? And it felt like he lit up. Like you could feel his voice light up through the phone, talking about Coach Norvell, the staff, the brotherhood, all those things. It just feels, yes, he keeps taking these unofficials to UF, but I still feel that unless he gets the official, I don't think there's much to worry about there. And I think he's pretty set on coming to FSU.
Easy for me to say. I'm not nearly as emotionally invested in recruiting as I once was, but it's like, yeah, again, man, these kids are 17. Let them go ahead and visit and experience these things. And it sounds like Michael's talking to Tom on the Smash. The staff mostly sounds like they're encouraging kids to hold off on making a commitment until they go ahead and see everything that's out there. That way they kind of know they've got them on the hook and they're firmly committed. So it's an interesting thing to do. You can also get them to commit to you right now and just fight everybody off and be like, all right, we're going to hold on to you as best as we can. But, it's 6 in one half dozen in the other. Matt, what's going on with Ja Jackson? What's this? Something's popped up on my radar, a really intriguing story possibly when it comes to an athletically talented young man. What do you got on Ja Jackson?
Well, first of all, he's huge. I think he's like 6'8", 6'9". I'm not sure on the weight, but he's huge. If you go on Twitter and look at the picture of him walking in for his OV earlier yesterday morning, you'll see how huge he is. The interesting part of the story is he played with Bronny James basketball a while ago too on his team.
Who's Bronny James, Matt? Who's Bronny James?
LeBron James's son.
Just in case, yeah, we're a football show. We're a football show.
It's like the one where he didn't want to wear 23 because he didn't want people to compare him to his dad. Who is this guy? Number 0, Bronny James. But yeah, it's
6'9", 300 is what he's listed at in the On3 database.
6'9", 300.
Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah, he's huge. He was at elite camp last week. He actually moves very well. But I don't think he has an offer from Florida State yet. Again, this is kind of a weird situation that we're still not completely sure about. But, I mean, if you can get him as a PWO, that big of a guy, if you can develop him, might not be that bad.
So he played basketball. LeBron's son. I know Bronny James there, but I was just joking.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Don't blow him out.
Yeah, I know. I tried to play into the joke.
He's 6'9", 300, so he's played basketball with Bronny James, so he's not like Bronny James is draft eligible to go into the NBA draft, so this kid's not like 19, 20, or, do we know how old this kid is?
No clue.
Okay.
No clue. I think he's considered class of 24.
All right.
That's what I think, so it'd be like a come in right now situation, I believe, if he were to go. He also visited Florida right before this, so they're in on him too. It's a wild situation.
Yeah, Gators Online, the Florida website on the On3 network, has him listed at 6'11", 330.
Jeez.
That's incredible. I'm trying to see if they've got his age here, but it says here, Jackson last played football 8th grade, spent several years playing hoops, IMG Academy, and Overtime Elite. All right, look at that. So we have a feeling he's going to be on campus? That's not really.
He's on campus right now.
He's on campus right now. Come on, Alex Atkins. I need an Alex Atkins smoking a cigar gif by lunchtime on Tuesday. That's what I need. All right. You'll keep us posted on that one, I assume, right, Matt?
Will do. He'll finish up his official visit. What started today, so he'll finish up Wednesday. Expect that story then. Okay. And then Thursday is when the midweeks end, and then Friday is when the weekend of 21 or like 20 plus recruits are coming. So, and then Elite 11 diary. There's a lot to look forward to this week.
Awesome. That's Matt LaSerre, staff writer for warchant.com. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
All righty, so that's a wrap. You got some football, kind of. You got some baseball, which is a big deal. There's only 6 teams left now because I'm here to tell you that Florida beat North Carolina State, sent them home. So, only 2 ACC teams left, and then around 5 o'clock today, 6 o'clock, there's only going to be 1 ACC team left. Hopefully it's Florida State, so we'll see how it goes. Texas A&M took care of Kentucky, so A&M will await the winner of Kentucky-Florida in that loser's bracket matchup. So for Ira Schoffel and Matt LaSerre and Corey Clark, I'm Aslan Hajavani. Thanks so much for listening. Jeff Cameron Show. I think Jeff Cameron Show on at 3 o'clock. Or maybe Headlines is going down. I don't know. Wait, probably not, because Ira's going to have to cover this baseball game. So I don't think there'll be headlines. Maybe Tom's going to fill in. I'm not sure. I don't get filled in on these things sometimes. So go to warchant.com if there's not the Jeff Cameron Show and see what happened with the ACC court thing. And give it a thumbs up. Kind of a little bit nervous about this, everybody. I haven't done this in a while, and I got to wake up early. Your dad doesn't like that sort of stuff. So we'll have a show for you tomorrow reacting to what we hope will be a Florida State victory over North Carolina. Then we'll have another show after that, which will be the mailbag, generating discussion sparked by Cummins. Get your questions in, valued, beloved warchant.com subscribers over on the Tribal Council for a chance to win a Cummins swag bag, as well as get entered into the grand prize drawing for a portable generator or a portable power station. Who else does that stuff on a podcast? We do an all right job. Hit the thumbs up. Leave a 5-star rating and review if you could, please. Certainly would appreciate it. Thanks for listening to another edition of Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy.